the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Oscar's Guitar Shop with Oscar Jordan, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Here we go. AK-47, the very best there is. When you absolutely, positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room, except no substitutes.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of Oscar's Guitar Shop. I'm Vintage Guitar Magazine contributing writer Oscar Jordan, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. I will take you to the pilot of your soul and get to the crux of the biscuit. But on this very special episode of Oscar's Guitar Shop, we got to get down to C. That's right, baby. We're going down to the ground, baby. Yeah, make it flap. Make it flap, make it flap. Yes, indeedy. That's what we're going to do, right? Yes, that's what we're going to do. You love me. I know you love me. And it's okay that you love me. Just love me hard. I'd like to give a shout out to all the teachers and the students at Magda Martial Arts Institute in Reseda, California. Thank you for the JKD, the C-Lot, the Kali, the Muay Thai, and the friendship. Oscar's Guitar Shop is powered by Music Connection Magazine, informing music people and industry professionals and support services since 1977. Visit them at musicconnection.com. Also, Performance Guitars, building custom guitars and basses for the biggest names in the music industry since 1976. Visit them at performanceguitars.com. Also, Analog Man Guitar Effects, providing everything you need between your amp and guitar. You better visit them at analogman.com. But now, it's time.
Music, music, I hear music. Music, I hear music, music. Music, whoa, 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 whoa. Music over my head. 1, 2, 3,
Track is called Over My Head from the album Live All Over the Place from King's X. Brothers and sisters, Doug Pinnick is the presiding minister of the First Church of Rock and Roll. He brought black gospel music to heavy rock, and the world has never been the same. He's opened hearts, changed lives, and showed the world that your experience and brazen honesty combined with cool music makes for great and beautiful art. With his colleagues, guitarist Ty Tabor and drummer Jerry Gaskill, King's X created a unique and mind-altering fusion of metal, grunge, Beatlesque harmonies, funk, and gospel. Pinnick brought his bass to life by taking the low end of the spectrum even lower. Anybody who's been to a King's X concert will tell you, you can feel that shit in your chest. So low you can't get under it. Doug Pinnick is a man among men. He is a groove master general with 19 albums with King's X, 6 solo albums, numerous side projects, and guest appearances to his credit. Pinnick is one of the most enviable vocalists and lyricists in rock. His current album is a project pairing him with blues rock guitar virtuoso Eric Gales and former Mars Volta drummer Thomas Pridgen. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Pinnick is a bad motherfucker. Lay down your burdens by the riverside. Ladies and gentlemen, the living embodiment of brilliance, Mr. Doug Pinnick. That's all for you, man. People be loving you.
I don't know who this Doug Pinnick is. You said some great things. I'd like to meet him.
Oh, well, he's a fine gentleman. I've met him just a few minutes ago for the first time, and he's a wonderful chap. And so how you doing, man?
I got no complaints. Like I said, life is heaven and hell, man. You got to ride down the middle.
That's right.
Just duck and dodge and make it work.
Much like a Dio song, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I love Dio. He's one of my favorite
singers. A little bit of heaven, a little bit of hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. A little bit of rainbows.
Yeah, sunshine and rain.
Well, hey, man, I need to get to the brass tacks. I need to get to the crux of the biscuit, the inside skinny, the straight dope. You are working on an album with George Lynch.
Yeah.
How is that coming, man?
That's almost done. George is coming over this afternoon after we get done here, and we're going to start working on some vocals. He wants to help out this time. I usually do vocals by myself and make up lyrics by myself, but he really wants to get together with me and work on it together. So, I'm willing to do that because I've written so many lyrics lately. I need some help. So we'll get. George has got a lot of stuff going on in his life, which is pretty cool. The Indian stuff and he's just such a deep person. So I think we're gonna come up with some pretty cool stuff, hopefully.
He's a verbose guy. He's got some really cool, interesting takes on lyrics and stuff. I haven't talked to him.
Oh yeah, he's crazy. You have to reel him in, man. He's nuts.
Yeah. So what else you been doing?
PGP. Pinnick-Gales-Pridgen.
That's right. Yes, I've been wearing that record out. I mean, it's awesome, man.
That's out. People seem to be liking it, so I'm excited about that.
It's a really cool pairing, and I'm like, why didn't people think of this earlier?
They did, but we didn't. I mean, the record company did,
right.
But it took them a while to get us all together to do it. I think they've been brainstorming this for a few years because they've been kind of pushing. Doug, do you want to do this with Eric? Oh yeah, I leave it up to them to work it out because I'm too busy doing other stuff. So
this is a record company idea, or
it was.
Mike Varney?
Yeah, Mike Varney at Magna Carta. He called me up and said, "Hey, you want to do this record with him?" And I go, "How much?" I said, "Hell yeah!"
Important.
It's very important. But I would have done it. I mean, I would have did it for free. But you got to pay the bills. But just the idea of working with Eric was. I just thought it'd be really a lot of fun because I've known Eric since he was about 15. His band, the Eric Gales Band, opened for King's X back in 90, I think it was 1990. They did a couple tours with us, and he they had to make him leave the bar when he got done playing because he was too young. But I mean, he was playing like that back then, and he's just amazing. So it was a lot of fun to put this record together. And Thomas on drums, he used to play with Mars Volta, and so the chaotic drummer.
Oh yeah.
And so it's Band of Gypsies on steroids for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, there's this one cut you guys do on the record that when I think of Thomas, because you guys cover the Cream tune, and he's just playing the shit out of the drums on that.
Yeah.
I don't know where the one is, but it's happening all over that song.
I don't know
man.
where the one is either. I had to use a clicker on it. I don't know how we're gonna do live because he is such a I mean, it's just amazing what he does, but I'll lose it sometime because I just, I'm not used to all the notes. But it's pretty amazing, and for this record, we wanted everybody to use their strengths, to do what they do, and so he put his heart into it and did what he did, just like Eric did. We made Eric play more leads than he wanted to.
Wow.
I mean, Eric could go, "Am I done?" I go, "No, you're gonna go all the way through the next verse and next chorus. Come on, that's people want to hear leads from you, man." And I was thinking, the last time we've had a really, really an album that had a lot of guitar on it was Van Halen's first album. Remember when Eddie came out with Eruption, and then, I mean, it changed everything. It brought guitar back, because at that point, we weren't paying much attention to anything back in the 70s, and then Eddie comes out and goes, "Damn, I'm back." And I was just like that. I haven't seen a record like that in a long time, so I thought maybe this record could be one of those over the top guitar playing records for these kids who want to play leads.
He's a bad dude on the guitar. You know what? Someone's calling in. I think it might be your agent from CAA. So let me see. Hello. This is Oscar Jordan from Oscar's Guitar Shop with the Doug Pinnick Fan Club. How can I help you?
Yeah, how you doing? This is Doug Kennedy, big fan of Doug's, calling from New York City. I was just wondering if you guys are going to be taking any questions.
I think we will. Would you like to ask a question to Doug Pinnick?
I sure would.
Doug, are you in the mood for questions?
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's do it. Go ahead, man.
Am I on now?
You're on, man. You're live.
Oh, cool. Hey, Doug, how you doing, man? Doug Kennedy
good.
from New York City.
Hey,
how
Doug.
you doing?
How you doing, man?
Excellent. Listen, I just wanted to ask you real quick. We got tickets for your the King's X show in New York coming up in May, and I'm just wondering if what that might be in store for us. This is the first time we've seen Jerry in a while playing. So are we going to hear anything new? Will this be sort of a greatest hit show?
It'll be the greatest hit show. Nothing new. We haven't been in the studio working on anything new for the last couple years. We just decided to take a little break. But and Jerry had his heart attack. So yeah, it'll be a King's X show. It'll be a full-blown King's X show. I mean, we're going to do the whole set, and we haven't done a whole set in a while, so we'll see what happens. We'll give you our hearts, though.
Fantastic, man. Looking forward to it.
Sure, Doug. Doug, your name sounds familiar. Do I know you?
Yeah, I used to play in a band called Isle of Q.
Okay, I know you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I worked for Sony, and I sent you a bunch of Sly Stone stuff at one point.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man.
I have
been seeing you out playing since the '80s, so great to hear you, and looking forward to all your projects.
Awesome, man. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, man.
Okay,
thanks for
take
calling.
care.
Take care. Wow, that's a good call. So, how is Jerry doing?
Jerry's doing great. Make a long story short, I mean, he has a heart attack. He dies. The lifeline comes into the house. They get his heart back going, put him in the hospital. A week he was in a coma, and it was a miracle that he got through it. And then a few months later, he went and got married. Him and his fiance went to Vegas and got married. And then a few months later, this big storm came, on the East Coast, and he lost his house. He was 4 blocks away from the ocean, and his house was gone. So he will tell you, he'll look at you and smile and go, "I died, I got married, and lost everything all in a year. Go figure." He's working on buying a new house, and his health is better than ever now. And I mean, he brings a new life to the camp. It's really great.
Well, those kind of situations really make you appreciate what you have.
Near-death experience will do it.
Oh man, it'll just wake your ass up and say, "Hey, I'm here for a reason, and I'm gonna do what I got to do."
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys are back on tour.
Thanks,
you know what? I'm gonna sit and just toss your salad for a second because your music has meant so much to me. You have gotten me through so much crap in my life, and I know you do what you do. You're an artist, but man, you have no idea how your music has touched me and so many people, and gotten me through so much stuff, man. Me and my friend Mickey from Chicago, we saw you. The first time we saw you was I'm going to say 1988.
Okay.
It could have been 87.
Uh-huh.
You guys opened for Blue Murder.
88.
No,
Blue Murder, that was 89.
89?
Yeah.
This was at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you had the 57 string bass.
Mm-hmm.
And you had
12 string.
And the military jacket.
Yep.
And you know what? Gosh. You guys was the three of the hugest sounding things I've ever heard from three people, and I was done. I'm like, this is amazing that they can do this, and I have not faltered since. I've been there. Got every album. I'm reciting lyrics that people don't want to hear me say, but I love your lyrics, and I'm in love with you guys. What can I say? Okay, you've done. That's a good talent.
Awesome.
Your self-esteem is doing good, pretty good right now, I would say, huh? Yeah. Well, so okay, back to the project album. How did you decide who would do what in terms of singing, writing songs, et cetera?
PGP?
Yeah.
Actually, we had 10 days to do it. I brought 10 songs in that I had written 20 songs for my solo record, and I picked 10 of them or something like that. And I had these other songs left, that were going to go somewhere, because everything I write usually goes to something. And Mike called up and says, look, we need you to bring at least 5 songs in, and Eric's going to bring some songs in. So I came in with 5, and then we collaborated on 5 and did Sunshine of Your Love as a cover. And we didn't really sit down and talk about much of anything. We had to get the drum tracks done in 3 days, which meant the songs had to be ready to go in 3 days so that we could put the overdubs on it. So we pretty much shit out that record, those songs, in 3 days, and we didn't stop to haggle anything. Everybody just put everything they had into it. And I think it came out that way because nobody slacked on this thing at all. We just kind of just really went for it. And especially Thomas. I loved how, I'd play my demo like one time, and he'd go, can we slow it down? I'd go, yeah. And he'd get on the drums and just nail it. I mean, just do his thing, and it was just insane. And Eric, the same thing is his guitar playing is just so bluesy and so cool. It was just so much fun to listen to each other and groove with each other and have fun, So there was no real talk about it. Thomas had to leave in 3 days, and then we were left with the vocals and overdubs and melodies and stuff. Mike Varney, he produced it, so he sort of was at the helm. And he says, okay, Eric and Doug, you're both going to sing on these songs. It's going to be like a Sly and Family Stone thing. It'll be cool if you guys go back and forth. And I'm going, sure, less I have to sing, the better, because all I ever wanted to do was play bass, ever. I never really wanted to be a singer in a band. Never did.
No, it's hard to believe. Well, tell you what, let's hear a cut from this record. I've been wearing this thing out, and it's just awesome stuff. This first song, it's called Hang On, Big Brother. It's from the album Pinnick-Gales-Pridgen. Album from magnacarta.net or wherever cool music is sold. This segment of Oscar's Guitar Shop is sponsored by Performance Guitars. Performance Guitars has been making hand-built custom guitars and basses since 1976. Their clients have included some of the biggest names in the music industry, including Frank and Dweezil Zappa, Warren D. Martini, Billy Sheehan, Steve Vai, and Joe Walsh. Their attention to detail, craftsmanship, great customer service, and on-site construction has made them a top choice for musicians the world over. Their guitar, amp, and effects repair is second to none. Their Corsairs Guitar Series and YB Bass Series was created for the working professional who needs an instrument that can perform in a variety of musical situations. They got good stuff. Their Frank Zappa-inspired effects pedals specialize in real analog and true bypass sounds. Performance guitars and basses will provide a seamless connection between you and the creation of great music. Visit Performance Guitars at performanceguitars.com or call 323-883-0781. That's 323-883-0781. Tell them Oscar Jordan sent you. I like the production. I like the way that Mike has gotten you guys to work in and out with the vocals. You guys are sharing because you both have really great soulful voices.
He's got a great voice. I like it.
Yeah, and then he's put you guys really well together to do your thing. You know, that's so hey people. You want to get it on? You got to check this record out. It's really really good. I've been wearing it out all week, and there's some great tunes on it, and there's some stuff that's got a kind of a King's X vibe on there too. That could have been on a King's X record.
Yeah.
It's got a really kind of cool flavor on it, and Eric, you know, he just got with it. He just rolled into it, and you guys kind of created your own thing,
yeah.
and it's very unique. It's not like any of your solo projects. It's you guys brought some real cool stuff to it.
Yeah, it was real important for everybody to do their thing, you know, and that's what makes a band individual is when everybody does their thing.
Right.
I finally learned that lately. Instead of being the control freak trying to make everybody do what I wanted them to do. I realized the best music is when everybody just gets in a room and does what they do and nobody tells each other what to do.
Right.
It's hard to find people to do that, and it took me a while to even learn how to do that because, like I said, I'm a control freak like most musicians are.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know how that is, man. Yeah. But, you know, I really think that it's having that third and fourth eye to add things just really makes a record a human experience. You know, that's my take on it anyway. You had another solo record, Naked.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
It'll be out May 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been taking a while. This is one record I decided. I mean, after all the records I've done, I own nothing because record companies own everything. And I mean, like with Atlantic, we've got so many King's X records on there, and I would like to take them and remaster them, make a package deal, do some real fun things for the people that love King's X. And I have no control. I mean, I'll go to the store and find ear candy on Castle Records because they've licensed it when I wish I could do it, wish King's X could do it. So to make a long story short, I really wanted something that I owned myself. So my solo record, Naked, I did it all by myself, financed it myself, did everything with it, and I'm putting it out on my own. And so it's taking a little while, and I'm learning how to do it, how to get that done, and it's going to be good. Everybody that's heard it so far really likes it, so that's an encouragement.
Yeah,
I hope they're telling me the truth. I
heard some tracks on. Actually, you shot a video for it.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Because I'm like looking at it, and it was hard to watch, man.
Oh.
But I mean, it's a great song.
Thanks.
Because you're shooting it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like you're moving around the room.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to watch for sure.
But the song is just killing.
Thanks.
And it's really, and it's like I said in the introduction. You have this brazen honesty. Your honesty, your honesty is brazen, and I really dig how you can take your life and you put that into your art, and that's, to me, that's the bottom line, man. It's your experience must go into your art, and that's what makes the art true.
Yeah,
you can't bullshit.
Yeah,
you can't just make some fairy tale. I mean, you could, there's people who can do that, but it hits people. People feel that when they hear your lyrics and they go, that dude's living, man. He's living, and this is his art, man. Can you teach me how to do that right now?
Just don't be afraid to tell people what you feel, no matter what. I've always been I've always worn my heart on my sleeve all my life. Even when I was a little kid, my grandmother who raised me would tell me not to say certain things to people as a little 4 or 5-year-old, because I was always saying things that people, revealing things that they don't need to know about. I mean, if I'm in a store and somebody says something, when I was a little kid, if somebody said something and I felt it wasn't right or they weren't telling the truth, because sometimes, parents will lie and they'll say things, and the kid's sitting there going, I go, Mommy, that's not true. Right in front of everybody. That's not what you told me, and shut up, And I've always been that way, like I said, to a fault. Got me in a lot of trouble, and it's got me a lot of love at the same time, But it's just I think it's a part of life, really. And the other thing too is I always tell people I don't know what else to write about. I mean, the only person I kind of know about is me, and I'm trying to figure that out. That's a lifetime thing, is trying to figure yourself out. And so, everything I write about is usually, a lot of people say that I'm speaking to them, but I'm never speaking to anybody but me. Right. Telling myself that I need to get my shit together, or that I'm loved, or that whatever, because I'm just as insecure as anybody else, and we all have our demons, and I've got mine too.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a double-edged sword, man.
Sure
because it gets you in trouble. I need to go back in time, though. We're gonna go. Let's do some time traveling.
Sure.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Strap in. We're going back to. Let's see. We can hook up that flux capacitor. We're going back to February 21st.
February 21st.
1991.
Okay.
This is when Faith, Hope, Love was out.
Mm-hmm.
This was the album. This was the album that was going to take King's X over the top.
Yep.
And you had this single, It's Love, one of my favorite songs. You got interviewed by Rolling Stone magazine, by David Fricke, I believe his name is.
He runs the place now.
I know, he's the mogul over there, and he was just a journalist back then, but now he is a god. And this was supposed to be your basic, this is a band on the rise kind of interview. And all of a sudden, it became about Christianity.
Right.
And it wasn't supposed to be about that,
Nope.
but it became about this whole other thing that had nothing to do with you guys.
Right.
And it changed the course of your careers. You guys were number 16 on the charts, I believe, for that. Number 6. No, you're a number 6.
Wow.
That song, look it up. It's you know.
I didn't realize it got that high.
Yeah, you guys are at number 6 on the charts, and then that article came out, and things changed, and it would never be the same for you guys. Do you remember that time period?
Oh yeah, I remember when because I mean we were I started King's X, and Jerry Ty and I both, all three of us were Christians, and we're pretty devout about it, but we all had our questions and we had our doubts, and for me, my life has always been a struggle of finding truth in whatever I'm doing, and all my life in religion there was just so much bullshit in it that I just couldn't accept a lot of stuff. So when I started King's X, I said, hey guys, let's put this band together, and let's not be a Christian band. Let's not go the Christian route. Let's just make rock music for the world, not go out and preach at anybody or tell them they need to get saved. I mean, I didn't feel comfortable doing that, and so when we did get the record deal, we could have got a record deal at a Christian label, but we turned them down. We said, no, we don't want to do this. And to this day, we've never done a Christian organized anything. We just wanted to stay away from it. And we knew back then that it was not cool to be called a Christian band back in 1990, 91. That's just a kiss of death. And so we weren't trying to go out and save the world. Well, here's what happened. Dave Frick came to, I think it was, I forgot what town it was. Maybe it was Houston. I'm not sure, but he flew in, spent 3 days with us. He spent a day with Ty, a day with Jerry, and the last day with me. Now, the three of us said, do not talk about religion on Rolling Stone. Don't even bring it up. Even if he asks, just avoid it and just talk about everything else. This is not, because we knew that if all you got to do is say the C word, and all of a sudden the dominoes would start falling. So we wanted to stay away from that. Well, we did. Ty and Jerry did a great job. And the last day I was with David, and we talked, man, most of the day just about great. It was great stuff. And then at the end, he turned the tape off, said, let's go out and have some dinner. So we went out and had some dinner, and we're, drinking some margaritas, I think it was, and eating and stuff. And he started telling me about his background, and his family were religious, and he had a hard time with it, and he was trying to find his own way, and he was a Christian at the time, and then he stepped out and did his thing, sort of like what I'm trying to do, or was trying to do at the time, was just trying to get out of that box. And he opened that door, and the tape was, he turned the tape off, and I trusted. I thought, okay, everything's cool. So me and him exchanged our lives through the religious world, it basically the dysfunction of it and how it really screwed us up. And when we read the article, it was all about that. My great grandmother wanted me to be a preacher, just briefly. She a couple of her kids were preachers, and she just wanted me to be a preacher. And I mentioned that, my grandma wanted to be a preacher, and the article made it look like I was going to be a preacher, and I was going to do this, and I was going to save the world, and it just made me look like what I didn't want people to perceive me as, because that's not who I was. And even when I was deep in the Christian world, I would get up at church and go, that doesn't make sense. Every time a preacher would preach and talk about things, I go, that doesn't make sense. That's not logical. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Why I was always making trouble, and which led me out of Christianity completely, which is I'm not even a part of it anymore. But even to this day, the band is called a Christian band. I just can't get away from it. Never will. And I don't know if it ruined us or not, but I was blamed for it.
Well, because doing my research for this, I think writers just try to find that little nugget that's going to give it that interesting, salacious thing that'll draw people to it. Mm-hmm. But you guys weren't a Christian band; you were Christians,
right? But
you weren't a Christian band, and he just took it another way. But I gotta say, because we're time traveling, mm-hmm. and we are experiencing, the time flux capacitor, mm-hmm. and the time travel paradox. Had that not happened, I don't think you guys could have written the King's X album or Dogman.
Oh yeah,
because those were heavy ass records. You guys were like mean, and you guys had a B up your ass.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed on the Faith, Hope, Love album, because when we did the album, I wanted just to steer away from the whole Christian thing, and when we picked the cover. Before we picked the cover, our manager says, producer and manager Sam, said to us, he said, so what are we going to name this record? And we couldn't think of nothing after Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. And so he says, well, in one word, tell me what you've been through this year, what's on your mind. And one of us said faith, the other said hope, the other said love. And it wasn't the phrase, it was just what we were going through. I said love, because that's a thing I struggle with. And so he says, let's call it Faith, Hope, and Love. And I'm going, nah, we're not going to do that. Faith, Hope, and Love is Christian. I said, let's go Faith, Hope, Love. I thought maybe that would just make it 3 words. But then the cover, and I agreed with it. The cover was a friend of ours who painted this cover, which was the history of the Bible from the beginning to Jesus coming back. And if you look at all the graphics of it, it's got all that stuff, and then Moses crossing the Red Sea, the whole thing. So there it is. All this Christian imagery, which we didn't have a problem with putting Christian imagery in, because it was just a cool thing. And but then we got the record. I remember I opened up the CD and pulled out the sleeve, and it had 2 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. I said, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
To our manager, he goes, well, I put that in there, I didn't tell you guys, and we were furious, because at that point, that sealed the deal. That record was a Christian record, and there's no way you can get around that. So we had to leave it at that. The next record, the 4th record, I think I was just still struggling with life. Struggling with my faith and sexuality and everything, Yeah. And so that record really reflects on a lot of that stuff. The Dogman record was a total change. Our manager left us. He produced the first 4 records. He left us. He left us basically with nothing. We had a name, and that was it. So we were left to figure it out. And the thing what we wanted to do was make a record that sounded like us live, because our first 4 records are really overproduced. Not to say that was bad. They are what they are. But we wanted just to rock out. So Brendan O'Brien was the one, and he came in and just made us sound like a rock band, like a garage band, like we were. But lyrically, I was pretty angry at that time. Our manager had left us high and dry. It wasn't a pretty sight. and the religious side of me, I was going to this church where I was just done. I just watching the way religion is and the trap. I mean, whether you believe in God or not, there's a whole lot of bullshit, and I cannot be around bullshit, or at least somebody else's. And,
yours is fine though.
Yeah.
Your bullshit
I don't know
fine.
I don't know my bullshit. That's why I gotta say you gotta show me. But that record is pretty angry, and there was some relationship problems going on in the band and stuff like that. So I just saw a whole dark side, especially because I met a person that was very evil and really screwed with people and really hurt them in a bad way, maliciously. And I didn't know people were like that. I didn't know people had evil in them. I believe everybody is okay. There's nobody's gonna hurt me or say anything bad about me, but I know they do. Right. But I'm just pretty naive about that. But when I found out, some really horrible stuff happened in my life and some people around me, and I just got angry with everything, with religion, with church, with God, with society, with the government, with myself, and just spewed it out. And I've been spewing it out ever since, actually.
Yes, you have. You've been spewing, and we've been loving it.
Good.
Yeah, out of that crappy situation with Rolling Stone, I think great art happened. And yeah, I'm really sorry that you guys didn't become bigger than Guns N' Roses. But hey, you wrote some great stuff, man.
I tell you, I know a lot of those guys in those huge bands, and I don't know if I want that responsibility. You can't go outside, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. Whatever you say, everybody scrutinizes it. Stalkers. And then when you have a lot of money, everybody expects you to give it to them. Right. And so I just look around and go, I think I lucked out. I got a good deal. Yeah. I get to do what I love. I got a fan base. I can, it's not bad.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great. Particularly on this new record, which I want to play a cut from it. Check this out, folks. If you haven't heard it, you better. The song is called Wishing Well from the album Pinnick-Gales-Pridgen. About your guitar tone, then you already know that Analog Man Guitar Effects makes the best stomp boxes in the world. Analog Man Guitar Effects has only one mission: to help you get your sound. They specialize in high-end boutique and custom-made pedals used by the best guitar players in the music business. They manufacture, modify, buy, sell, and repair vintage and new effects pedals, and their customer service is tops. Their fuzz pedals, overdrives, compressors, chorus pedals, boosters, and delay pedals are truly awesome and chock full of analog goodness. Yeah, baby. Visit Analog Man online at analogman.com. Check out their huge selection of pedals and accessories. Once again, that's analogman.com. Analog Man Guitar Effects. Everything you need between your guitar and amp. Yeah, this is the track. I can hear some King Zex in there, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, this is what's gonna bring people to the party, you know,
cool.
stuff like this. And on a side note, Eric Gales is gonna be here next week.
Awesome.
Not physically here,
okay.
but I will do a seance, and then he will appear over the internet. He'll call in from he lives in North Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm just glad he's playing rock.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad that he's doing better, and he had some tough times.
Yeah, he did.
But to me, this is my personal opinion, Eric Gales is a rock player.
Oh yeah.
And he's trying to make money doing the blues thing, and he can play the hell out of some blues. But he can do so much more. He's got so much more in terms of a songwriter. One of my favorite records he did is That's What I Am. I don't know if you heard that. That's a rock record.
Yeah.
That's a black rock record. And he just kicked that album. And we'll talk about it.
Talk about black rock.
Talk about black rock. Anyway, I want to talk about some gear stuff because you're like Mr. Refrigerator rack dude. In fact, you have a A and a B rack thing going on, and I think it's really cool. How do you set up your rig basically?
Well, the truth of the matter is I got a fractal axe effect. I programmed the whole rig in that thing, and I have a preamp and a power amp and 6 SVT cabinets, and that's all I need now. But a few years ago, and probably since maybe 87, I've been bi-amping. John Entwistle and Chris Squire are my references for tone.
Wow.
John Entwistle was in the Who, and Chris Squire was in Yes. The tone. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Because we're in our effects gear, and I wanted to bring in the gear expert.
Okay, let's do it.
This is Analog Man, Mike Piera from Analog Man Guitar Effects. How you doing, Mike?
Hey. Good afternoon.
You're on with Doug Pinnick.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, man? Are you still digging your car out of snow, or is that melted?
Oh, it's melting. It's really melting, and it's Friday. All the analog L's have gone home, so I'm just taking it easy here for a bit.
Very cool. Well, I wanted to talk about gear. I was surprised that you were influenced by Chris Squire. But then I thought about, because you use a pick. He uses a pick. I know he goes
That's why I
back and
use
forth.
a pick.
That's why, because of him. Yeah.
When I first heard Roundabout, that bass tone, I went, what the hell is that? And I literally ran to the store. I didn't have a car at the time. I lived in the ghetto. I ran downtown to the music store and says, hey, how do I get that twangy sound? And the guy says, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I did some research and found it was Rotosound strings, and John Entwistle had used them too. So I scraped up about $50 and bought a pair. They were so expensive, but they sounded great. But I couldn't afford them. And if I didn't have if I didn't use DR strings right now and they give them to me for free, I wouldn't be able to buy strings.
That's very cool. You use a couple different compressors in your rack, right?
Well, yeah, I use a compression going. Let me see. How did I do it? It's only on the low end actually. I would compress coming out of the preamp into the EQ, in between those two. Right. For my low end, I always compress low end as heavy as I can because I want every note to be even. Because low end, it doesn't have to be dynamic. It just has to sit there underneath everything. And then I put the high end on it with the guitar and gets that kind of a rattly sound. And when you blend the two, you get that big train wreck tone. And you don't need much high end. I mean, if you listen to just the high end speaker, all you hear is maybe between 500 to 2K. Just this, you don't hear much of nothing else. But if you gently turn it up with the humongous low end, all of a sudden it turns into this voice, this ogre voice, you know. And I've loved that tone. I mean, mine's pretty much a hybrid of them. I mean, I think I've taken it a little bit further than they have. Wow.
Hey, Mike. Speaking of compression, I have problems, and I need you to help me because I'm on the slow bus of effects. I'm going to come clean. I have a compressor from one of your competitors because the Mr. Keeley, I have the Keeley compressor. But it's just gathering dust because though I know what they're supposed to do and I know how they use them for records, for albums to get that tight signal, when I play out live, never has there been the drunk guy from the back of the club saying, dude, your compressor's so awesome, because it's just too subtle.
Oh, I don't use any compression live except for my low end.
Right.
Just the low end signal, but everything else has to be bright. Everything else has to jump out at you.
Because like some people don't want that woolly tone, that woolly thing.
Live doesn't. I'm contradicting myself now, but I don't think, especially when I've ran sound, put a compressor on something, it just turns everything into a big mess. Especially microphones, put a compressor on a microphone,
right.
All of a sudden you hear the whole band come through the mic and stuff.
Oh, man.
For my bass, the compression is straight. They take it straight to the board. There's no mic in between it.
Right.
For my low end, and so it's sort of like a studio quality direct, so it works. But to put a mic on it, you need that give and take thing,
Right. Mike, on my pedal board, what's the best way to put a compressor?
Yeah. Let's talk about guitar right now. That's quite different from bass.
Yeah.
A compressor like our compressor or a Dynacomp or the Keeley. There's two ways I like to use that. First of all, I like to keep it early in the signal chain to keep the noise level down. One way I like to use it is with the sustain knob all the way down. Also, Chuck from the band Mo uses it a lot like this. Keep the sustain knob down and just as a sweetener. So it's not really crushing your signal. It's not giving you a lot of sustain, but it just kind of drives the following pedals. I always like to stack different pedals, overdrives things. Or into a chorus. Compression into a chorus really brings the chorus out, and it makes it sound really big and thick and sweet. The other way I like to run one of these kind of compressors with the sustain up high to get a lot of sustain, if you want to play it like slow single notes and just have them ring out, like we play Midnight Rider, and there's a part in there where you just slide it up on the G string, and I like to have that note just ring out, and it really works great for that.
Yeah.
Great sound.
I had an audition for a country band, and I wanted to get that tight, clean, compressed sound, and it was just too subtle. I just could not find a way to make it, sound like those modern country guys where it's just a tight signal. It's like when you're in a room or in the crappy sports bars that I play in, you really can't discern the quality that much. Is there anything you could recommend for that?
Well, it really you have to have the right guitar too. It's like I play Les Paul a lot, and it's kind of hard to hit a compressor with a Les Paul and try to get that kind of tone. You really got to start out with a Tele or a Strat, and an amp that's up a little bit, so the amp is giving you some thickening, and you should be able to get a good kind of a chicken picking sound out of any of those kind of Dynacomp or Ross style compressors at a medium sustain setting. It's a lot has to do with your playing. A lot of people don't want to get that sound, but one of those compressors should work great for that kind of country chicken picking sound.
So once again, it's the player's fault. if I could get my pedal steel together, then it would be okay. But unfortunately, I have not gotten it done. I don't know. It's I just found it was too subtle. And
well, we have another compressor that we make two, and they're either both of them combined in the bicompressor. And the second version we make is called the Juicer, which is based on the old Dan Armstrong Orange Squeezer, and that's a compressor that works really well in bass. Tony Levin has been using it with Peter Gabriel and King Crimson and the Stickmen and all his other bands. He's been using our Orange Juicer on his bicomp for at least a dozen years. And I found an old picture of him with the original Dan Armstrong plugged into his old bass back from the mid-'70s. So that was pretty cool. But that one I like to use on guitar as stacking. I like to stack it. Like if you stack the juicer into a distortion pedal, it gives it a nice little fuzzy edge, like a really breaking up speaker sound, or into an overdrive. It gives it another kind of a cool tone. So the juicer I like to stack, or I'll just run it into a semi-clean amp for kind of like a good rhythm tone, like kind of Tom Petty rhythm, kind of a semi-crunchy rhythm. So those two compressors are used quite differently, and they sound quite different. But I like to use both of them, probably 20-30% of the time I'll have one of those on.
Very cool. What if somebody wanted to buy some analog Man effects? Where would they go?
Well, probably the best place to go would be analogman.com. But if they're in your area, they can hit up, for example, in Santa Monica, True Tone Music has usually got them in stock. But yeah, we've got them all. We're built to order, and don't tell anybody. But our compressor has got a new Rev 4 version coming out right now, and oh boy, it is so sweet sounding. But don't tell anybody.
I will tell so. Hey, Mike, thanks for coming on the air. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was cool. He's a cool guy. He has the best stuff in the world, and I just wish I had more money. That's all I can say.
He knows his stuff.
Yes. But now it's time for that special part of the show, Doug Pinnick, and it's called The Burning Question.
Uh-oh.
Doug Pinnick, are you ready for the burning question?
I'm always ready.
Doug Wimbish or Muzz Skillings?
Oh, you're evil.
Yes. Well,
you are
just take your time.
Evil.
What could it be?
Oh, God. Okay, I got a question. Does either one of those guys listen to this?
Oh, of course. Everybody listens to the show.
Oh, you're evil. You're so evil. I know them both. I've played with them both. I've heard them both play. God damn you.
Gotta pick one, man.
It
burns. The question burns.
You know, Muzz.
Yeah. I concur. I saw him back on the first tour, and Muzz is always. I love Mr. Wimbish.
Wimbish is Hendrix on a bass. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Every time I fronted a Living Color for a week. We did 10 shows in Europe, and Corey couldn't do it, and so I got to be on stage and listen to those guys play from firsthand. And so, I got nothing bad to say about Doug.
We both agree, man. So, that's our show. This composition that I'm playing right now is called Goldilocks Like You Didn't Know. It's from the album Live All Over the Place. That's our show. I'd like to thank our guest, bassist extraordinaire Doug Pinnick. Set mind to purpose and visit him at kingsxrocks.com. and purchase every piece of music the band has ever written. Also, check out the new album with Eric Gales and Thomas Pridgen at magnacarta.net. That's magnacarta.net or wherever cool music is sold. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Music Connection Magazine. Visit them at musicconnection.com. Also, Performance Guitars, building custom guitars and basses for the biggest names in the music industry since 1976. Visit them at performanceguitars.com. Also, Analog Man Guitar Effects, providing everything you need between your amp and guitar at analogman.com. Tune in next week where our guest will be blues rock guitar virtuoso Eric Gales. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.